Let's talk about Dune 2.
Dune 2.
It has been announced. Dune 1 just came out a little while ago. I watched it in the theater. Logan watched it on TV. We did an episode of that.
Yep. Nice deep dive.
Denis Villeneuve. So talented. So talented.
Yeah.
And they announced that the sequel, Part 2, Denis Villeneuve Part 2, is going to come out. I want to call BS. I'm going to call BS just because of this. They announced it like a week after, the first, box office receipts came in.
Yeah.
And they already have a scheduled date. They're saying it's going to come out in 2023, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So it was already planned. They're not going to. Yeah, I mean, and again, it's semantics, but they're basically acting like, oh well, this was such a good hit. We're now going to start on a sequel. No, you always were planning on a Part 2, and you just wanted to not put it out there in case this tanked. So they were hedging their bets, but
it is better press to put it out quickly than to cancel it if it flopped.
Exactly. No. I hear you.
Can't fault them there, but yeah, I mean, I think I need to go back to the book a little bit because I'm not sure. My understanding, my memory, albeit as faulty as it may have been from 15 years ago, I thought there were 3 parts to the original Dune. Dune Messiah, as he called it, Frank Herbert, and Dune or Children of Dune, something like that. And I am not entirely positive on where this particular film cut off. I thought it was just at the end of Dune. And if so, this announcement kind of bothers me some, because if you're going to do Dune, and if this is just truly the Dune Messiah / Dune 2 part, I would really want 2 and 3 announced and approved back to back to finish the entire initial omnibus of a novel. Because to try and end it at just that, I think you're still going to end up on a huge cliffhanger. Again, if I'm remembering the story correctly, and it really doesn't come to its end until you get to the end of what would be Children of Dune section.
And again, I've never seen Children of Dune. I just saw the David Lynch cinematic one, and
as I mentioned, I'm going from the sci-fi novelizations or video or sci-fi versions back from 2000 and 2003, as well as having read the original novel from Frank Herbert. So, yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, no. Again, you probably have such a better appreciation of the storyline, and I'm literally just digesting the swill that these directors are churning out. Yeah. But it sure does look pretty. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it does.
Denis Villeneuve can shoot a shot,
Oh, man. And it's incredible. I saw an interview with him for Vanity Fair. It came out, what was it, the 22nd, a week ago. And he spends almost 17, 18 minutes just breaking down the initial scene, the Gom Jabbar scene in the beginning, where the main Bene Gesserit woman has like the needle to his neck and he puts his hand in the pain box.
Yes.
He breaks that down with just such an incredible love and attention to detail to that scene. And I gotta say, part of the reason why I think this works is just, he basically as much said that normally he, makes a movie for an audience, but this time he made the movie for an audience of one. And that was him looking back on himself when he read the book originally. And when you make something for yourself that way, or with the love that it was what you wanted to be seen, even if it flops, I feel like you can't have done wrong. And in so many cases, I feel like it doesn't. And this did not flop. This was fantastic.
Absolutely. And I think I did not see that episode, but I remember reading something about how he approached, and I think it was right after he did Blade Runner 2049. and he said, and it was before he started filming Dune, but I remember hearing him say he wanted to shoot Dune because he didn't want anybody else to do it.
Yeah.
Because he had such a love for that property, and he basically wanted to give it the attention and care that he thought only he could bring to it. So 100% with you on that. He was,
did it.
Yeah, he was definitely shooting something that, quite frankly, nobody needed to watch. He just wanted to create something from what he appreciated. And I think the same can also be said for Blade Runner 2049. And if you see the detail and just the craft in 2049, Dune is almost like a step, like a breather, because 2049 was so dense with, backgrounds and this, I mean, obviously you have a lot more landscapes, and don't get me wrong, the scale of the ships are phenomenal, and the halls and the locations. But 2049 was just, it was like those, mega cities, and you had all this neon and colors and sounds and fashion, and everybody had different fashion, and everybody was unique. Whereas Dune, you have more uniform looks or tribal.
It's the difference between the world detail and the personal detail.
Absolutely. And again, one not being better or worse than the other.
No, totally.
It's
different.
It was different. You could. I mean, I remember, and again, I don't want to dwell too much on 2049 because this is about Dune, but I remember the early scenes in 2049 when he's in his ship and he's flying over the desert, going to Dave Bautista's farm. And he's flying over what are basically greenhouse towns, because the environment is so polluted and toxic. Everything's basically in a greenhouse. All the food farms are undercover because probably the sun and the temperature is all wackadoo now. But what I saw, like if you see this on the big screen, which you got to see his films on the big screen, it's phenomenal. You could see the drones with lights inside the greenhouses toiling. And again, why would you put that level of detail? Because you can barely see it. You're literally just seeing lights, behind an opaque surface in a greenhouse. That you don't go into the greenhouse, you don't see that until you get to Bautista's, but just that level of detail, and you can tell that's when it's craft meets obsession meets something else, because I mean, obviously he's got the skills. I've been a fan of his ever since in Sicario and in Arrival. Yeah, so just his pacing, his care to detail, and you could tell he loves the craft of what he's doing, and again, him. I would say, here's the thing: I would almost compare him to Christopher Nolan, but with more character development and more attention to the characters, as opposed to just.
There's a very Dark Knight aspect to Dune. That's a good point.
It's so sharp, and I don't know if it's the cinematographer he uses, but everything is just very, meticulous, and it doesn't seem organic in some ways, and I don't mean that as a negative. It just seems like the halls, everything. It looks like a recreation of an artist rendering, in a good way. He's capturing the vision, but it's almost too. Just it's interesting. I don't know. But again, in a good way. It's
in a great way, and I'm definitely looking to see the world expanded.
And I appreciated Dune, this first one, so much, because I didn't get the politics or the motivations from the Lynch version. Again, probably because I was much younger. I'd probably have to watch it again. But I had no understanding of the source material, and I did not, as a child, I did not know about setting up your enemies to fail. I mean, that was not in my head. I didn't know about the sabotage of governments and things like that. That was my day of Star Wars. So if you're not showing me lasers and laser swords and blasters, I checked out. So
this is such a wholly different space experience than Star Wars or Star Trek or Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, there's a political bleakness to this, or maybe it is a Dark Knight kind of bleakness to it that, it's really not your bright light shoot 'em up space laser kind of a thing. It's a very, a very personal, a very dour, very dark kind of a story, and it holds to that.
That is an excellent point. It is very dark in that sense, and it does not seem like there's joy. Everything is a struggle, or it's kind of like Game of Thrones. But
even having like even having your own planet, or being given control of another planet if you have your own, like even you're at the legions of armies and kings for how long, and it's like it still feels like you're always just on the precipice of like complete and utter ruin, which they were.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I know we spoke about this before, about how when you see this in this new interpretation, and you look at Star Wars and how and again, Lucas, took pieces of Kurosawa and obviously heavily influenced by this, the original novel. Because, I mean, come on, Obi-Wan Kenobi saying these aren't the droids you're looking for is the voice. That is literally the voice to make somebody, to take over a weaker mind, if you will. And Luke growing up on a desert planet with literal sandworms. And remember when we saw The Mandalorian, and they had that, it was a dragon, they called it the dragon?
The crate dragon, yes.
Yeah, that's the sandworm, and it looked exactly like a sandworm. So there were so many things just taken directly from this, where when you see this unadapted version of it, or I'd say co-opt version of it. Yeah, you get a true appreciation of. I remember even in episode 1, episode 2 of Star Wars. I forget the name of it. Attack of the Clones. Senate hearings and trade embargoes and things like that, and it was almost like he was trying to make a political extension of Star Wars when. So I definitely see the DNA of Dune all throughout that Star Wars, and again, rightfully so. And I said it before. I think it's Shakespearean. Yeah, very. In the fact that you have family struggles, you have power struggles, and the fact that it's an interstellar story doesn't really change anything, because it's all still just betrayal and the journey of the hero, and it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see the second. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Definitely. And maybe I can get you to shake off your family and just come see it. I think in 2 years that's probably possible. That's because again, I highly recommend you all see it in the theater. One thing I'll probably try and do is, because it was such a great experience seeing it. I'm a big fan of the Alamo, so I go there because they have great eats. But if you really want to get a cinematic experience, the best one, not that you couldn't go to another like IMAX or something, but the Air and Space Museum theater, which is like 50 feet high screens something or something. Like that. It's incredible. Ridiculous. So I definitely want to check out that there. And maybe also the Batman. I'm sure that'll be shown there as well, too. Yeah, probably. Yeah. But so Dune 2. Looking forward to it. It's going to be